Hello CS executive students. Let me introduce myself. I am Tejpal Shet, practicing company secretary and academician. For almost 15 years, I am teaching the various students of CA, CS, ICWA and MBA. In this video, I am going to guide you how to prepare for a company law subject, module 1, paper 1, right? The company law paper consists of 100 marks and divided into the number of chapters, right? And most of the students find it a very lengthy subject at the time of first reading and at the time of a last reading during the course of an examination. Am I right? So, here we are going to find out some solution on that. And I am sure that it will definitely help you in preparing for subject and in passing the examination. First part is the theory. Theory is a base of understanding the subject. Read the theory or listen the theory. Read it very carefully, read it in a digestive manner. Many students read it very fast and read it at a glance. Remember, when you read it in a very fast manner or in a glance, you will omit number of things, and this can be the core area of a question. So read the theory very carefully, listen to theory very carefully, right? I am using the word listen, I am not saying hearing, right? And if possible, only try to read or listen in English if you are going to give or appear for exam in an English medium. Because if somebody explain you in a Hindi medium and you are going to appear for English medium, because of a translation, you will lost the number of concept. Because a translation is not possible by the human in an exact manner. So read the theory very carefully in a proper manner. Remember, the first and the foremost the point is that theory is an interesting subject. And as far as you are preparing for a CS executive, the company law is a main subject. Many students consider that theory is a very boring. No, theory is a very interesting. And it is only the area, big area of a student and strong area of an institute. So if you are strong in a theory, there are the more chances of be successful in terms of a passing of exam. Number 2, get familiar with the technical words, technical jargon. Like say for example, at a number of places we are using the word director and a number of places we are using the word promoter. Now, can you use the word promoter instead of a director? And can you use the word director instead of a promoter? So one has to keep the technicality in your mind. No doubt, I understand that it is very difficult to write the answer as it is. But at the same time, you are required to maintain the practicality and technicality. If you lose it, you will definitely lose the mark. And at the time of reading the theory or listening the theory, make a habit of note down the points. Now you will ask me, sir, the subject is a big, have you seen the volume? Yes, I have seen the volume. I am not asking you to write down each and every line with a comma, full stop and colon. I am just asking you to note down the main points. Only note down the main points. Now these main points will help you to revise the subject as and when you need it and when you are going through the shortage of a time, right? And once you have learned the theory, you have heard the theory, you are required to revise it immediately, not later than 48 hours. So revise the theory immediately within the 48 hours. Because if you revise within the 48 hours, the rule of memory says that there are the more chances of retention. You can retain up to the 70%. and if you revise in a 24 hours, there are the chances of retaining of 80 to 90% of what you have learned, right? Refer the books or a material, right? Whenever you need, you may refer the good books, you may refer the good material, right? And first of all, you cannot omit the institute module. So the institute module is to be invariably referred, right? And the most important is that you need to plan for exam day, because on an exam day, it is my observation, my experience that a number of students coming and complaining that, sir, we are not in a position to complete the subject just in 8 hours or 1 day. So you need to make a plan for an exam day, that how many hours will you have on that day and how you will read it, for what minute, for how much time, for how many hours, etc. I am leaving it up to you. Now, the question paper is partly in a theory and partly in the form of a practical question. So, if you have been asked a theory, it is a very easy, and if you remember, you will reproduce it. I am very much sure. But if it is a practical question, so then one has to try to correlate the theory with the application or with the practical situation. A number of students find it difficult trying or attempting the practical question. In my opinion, the practical question is the easiest thing to clear the exam, because in that case you require to write a less and you can have more marks. So read the question very slowly. Whenever it is a practical question, read the question very slowly. Try to get the information from the question and understand the question. Say for example, in the case of a promoter, it has been asked, who is liable? And another question is that whether a company is liable for this pre-incorporation contract. Now, the concept is the same, but the question is different. In most of the answer, you will find the student has written it is a pre-incorporation contract and then promoter is liable. Now, promoter is liable, that is correct for this question, right? Company is liable, for that this answer is not appropriate. Now you will say, I have written for 100 marks. And how can I get a 30 marks? This is why you are getting a 30 marks, because you never understand what is the demand of the examiner, what is the requirement of the paper. One has to understand the paper, question, demand. And once you understand the demand, you require to correlate with the theory. First, note down the theory. If you remember the section, you can quote the section. If you are remembering the landmark judgment, you can also cite the landmark judgment. Many students are having a doubt that, sir, writing the section is a compulsory. No, you can completely pass CS exam without writing a section. But if you write it, if you mention it, then it is a good and it will create a good impression on the examiner. At the executive level, you should have a working knowledge. And in some cases, you must have an advanced level of knowledge. Advanced level of knowledge demand the landmark judgment. So one must remember the certain number of landmark judgment, right? And many students are just writing the theory, but they are not concluding the answer. Depend upon the question asked, you are required to conclude your answer. If you cannot conclude your answer, then you are not likely to get the complete mark. Say for example, the question was for a 4 mark. You have written or you have mentioned the theory in a very clear manner, but you omit the conclusion. So you will get either a 2 or a 2.5 marks. If the examiner is good, he will give you 3 marks, right? So one must consider all these points while preparing for a theory subject, especially for a company law, right? In case if you want, you may subscribe my lectures, my video lectures at caclub.com. I wish you the very happy reading and a best of luck. Thank you.